Welcome to the Slay Girl Slay podcast, a space designed to uplift, to motivate, and to inspire you to be fearless in the pursuit of your dreams, go after what you deserve, and show up as your most unapologetic, most authentic self. This audio series was created for every woman who's on the verge of her come up. She's creating her own vibe and fiercely transforming her life. So, sit down with me, get your notebook, grab a pen, and let's create the life that you've always dreamed of. I'm your host, Ashley Legs, and this is the Slay Girl Slay podcast. Hey girl, hey! Welcome back to the Slay Girl Slay podcast. I hope this episode finds you well, boo, and your week and your day is off to a great start today. I have an aunt. I've talked about her on the podcast before, my Auntie Ro, and she uses this phrase when you ask her, hey, Auntie, how you doing? How's it going? And she'll always respond and say, I'm grateful things are as well as they are. My cousin brought it to my attention not too long ago, and ever since then, I've been catching her saying it so much, and I hope that makes you feel light and lifted today. I hope that things are going as well as they are going, because they can always be going differently. Maybe everything isn't going the way that you want it to right now, but also look around and see that things are still well. You are here, you are breathing, you are driving your car, you are walking on your hot girl walk, you have a job, you are making money, even if it is a couple of dollars. Someone loves you. You may have little people that love you and depend on you. You can call the people that you love. So, in the grand scheme of things are going well, boo, okay? And I hope they continue to go well for you. Really quickly, since the show has been back, boo, my dad has been like, so how's all my listeners doing? Because he thinks this is his show. I said, your listeners? He said, yeah, the podcast listeners. I said, bye, daddy. My mom is like, tell everybody I say, hey, girl, hey. So I talk about them a lot on the pod. I don't think I could ever have them both on the podcast at the same time because mental health, right? But just passing the message, boo, that even outside of the podcast, me and my family always have y'all in mind. Really, really quickly, I also have to do my due diligence, Spooky, and ask, are you registered to vote? I know, we're getting so annoyed hearing this question, but I promise you'll be even more annoyed if one day you wanted to vote, but you lost your right to, right? That is what makes a democracy. Government by the people, power of the people. People meaning you and me, boo, okay? My international friends, send us your thoughts and prayers, child. It's getting real ghetto on this side of the pond. Stay where y'all at, okay? Stay exactly where you are. You know, sometimes you really have to laugh, boo. Even though this is the serious of all serious matters, hello, I appreciate people who can just laugh sometimes. You know, they keep comparing the stakes of this election to that show, Handmaid's Tale. And a friend and I were having a good kiki on the phone one night, and she's really into fitness. I am not. And I was like, girl, I am not going to the gym and trying to keep it right and tight if we just gonna be walking around in them ugly handmaid's gowns later on. Like, no. And also, what's the hair situation? Can I wear my bonnet under that little white hood? Like, what does that look like? But in all seriousness, boo, check your status. Make sure you are good to go and go vote. I am clearly all jokes today, and I'd like to think that maybe you laugh in your car or while you're walking with me sometimes or while you're at work. I love to laugh. I have to laugh. Life is way too serious for us not to. I am a very unserious person sometimes, and you have to get out of your head so much, boo, and not ruminate on whatever is currently bothering you. A couple of weeks ago, after the season premiered, so many of you messaged me and you were like, Ash, thank you so much. I loved the episode. I really loved the show. I was really worried about this. I was worried about that. And as a worry queen myself, you have to kind of step back, boo, and remind yourself that whatever you're worried about has not happened yet. And if it does, there's also another good chance it doesn't happen the way that you think it will. So try not to spiral and spend your entire day, your entire week thinking about it over and over and over again and taking time from tomorrow, and tomorrow hasn't gotten here yet. I told you guys before, I am very, very good at spiraling, okay? Even as a kid, my little mind would just be moving, child, thinking of every possible outcome when something bothered me. My dad always says to me, let it come to you first. That goes for the good things like ideas, your creativity, the words to say on this podcast sometimes. But that also goes for the not so good things, right? Like worrying about the future, what's going to happen, health scares at the doctor's office, conflict with somebody, money issues, all the things that we under any normal circumstance would worry about. I can also hear him saying it right now in my head because he says it so much, but he'll be like, stop, let it come to you first. So I'll call and I'll be like, well, what if this money doesn't come through? Let it come to you first. What if the doctor says this? What if this happens to my body? Let it come to you first. What if I end up having to do this? What if this ends up happening? Let it come to you first. Let the issue become an issue before you act like it's an issue. You know what I'm saying? When you worry, you become really, really good at assuming something will happen, assuming things will be a certain way. And the facts are, you don't have all the evidence to back that up yet. The facts are, right now, there may not be enough facts. So until you have the facts, until you have an actual issue, stop letting it be one. Y'all, the DNC was here in Chicago a few months ago, and there were so many cops and helicopters flying around the city. Sirens were going off in the distance. Motorcades were going past my window every day. And right before it happened, the news was preparing everybody for all of these fights and protests, and buildings were boarding up in fear that there would be riots and they were going to burn the city down. So I was worried. I called my dad and I was like, what if they start protesting in the streets? What if they start busting out windows and blowing up cars? He was like, Ashley, let them burn down Chicago first, okay? If you see flames in the distance, worry. But if you don't, relax. And honestly, boo, yes, there were protests and some fights, but it wasn't on the scale that I was imagining it to be. It was probably the safest time to be here in Chicago, if I'm really being honest. It was so quiet, it was so peaceful, it was clean. And I say that to say I was putting myself into a stressful situation that did not cause for me to stress because there wasn't even a situation happening. Reel it in, boo. It's not that deep, and it's not as serious as you probably think it is. And I'm not going to tell you that your feelings aren't valid, because they are. You are valid in your worry. You are valid in caring about the things that you care about. Your feelings are valid, but you don't have to take yourself there either. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like seeing a little kid get overwhelmed because they are experiencing really big feelings and emotions, because to them, it is big. But then you tell them, hey, it's okay. Everything will be just fine. You are safe. You are loved. You are taken care of. Same goes for you, boo. When we worry, we are like that little kid with big emotions and even bigger feelings. But it is okay, and everything will be just fine. This summer, I learned how to just disconnect from things that worried me or bothered me, things that I couldn't stop thinking about. And how I did that was put all of my focus on something else for the time being. You guys know this, but I started working on my first novel. I am currently over halfway through my first draft. Please send your thoughts and prayers. And I was in school this summer, but it went from worrying about all these things to focusing on one thing. I didn't give my mind time to freak out or spiral because it was lasered in on something that excited me, something that brought me joy, something that brought me peace. I think all of us need healthy distractions from what worries us, from life stuff, from family stuff, from work stuff, something that isn't another job, something you aren't depending on right now to make you any money, just getting into a healthy distraction, writing a book, making jewelry, pottery classes, Pilates. Maybe it's filming Pilates videos or teaching people how to do what you do online or on YouTube. Something that's very low touch, low expectations. You don't have to recreate the wheel and brand it and give it its own TikTok page. Just something that takes your mind from where it once was into a space that it needs to be. You have to step out of your situation, boo. Step out of the fear, step out of the worry, step out of the spiral, and step into something else. That is how I am learning how to worry and stress less about things that may not even happen by putting all that energy into something I enjoy. What also helps, boo, is to try not to think about you so much, right? How something might affect you, how something might change you. And put that focus on someone else. And here's what I mean by that. I learned about this app this past summer called Be My Eyes. And I'm sure you've heard of it if you've been on TikTok, but you can download this app and help people who are blind or have impaired vision see. So they call you through the app, your phone rings, and it's a video call. And sometimes they just need to know what color shirt that they picked out or if they're matching for the day. Sometimes they need help with reading the ingredient list on a spice bottle or reading a recipe. And when I tell you, boo, there is nothing like the shift that brings from sitting there in a rut, in a funk about your stuff when you actively help someone else through theirs. Another site I found is called loveforourElders.com. It is the cutest thing, boo. They have a list of elders who have been nominated by someone in their families, maybe a friend, and it tells you how old they are, what they like, their favorite TV shows, their hobbies, and a lot of them are just lonely, and it makes their day when you write them a letter. That is something I am planning to do with my niece when I have her again, is get her some paper. She can't read yet, but she likes to color, and we're gonna send some letters out to some people who may be feeling lonely and forgotten, just to say, hey, we're thinking about you. That's what I mean when I say take the focus off of you and put it on someone else. Because, boo, although yes, we have our own stuff going on, we have our own things to worry about, things are still going as well as they are. And until they aren't, keep focusing on the things that bring you love and light, boo, not fear and anxiety. Worrying and stressing is only making us look older and uglier and raggedy. And girl, I hate to say this phrase, but that is not very cute, very demure, or very mindful. Let it come to you first, sis. Whatever it is right now is what it is. And whatever it's going to be later on, well, you'll just have to see. That's it for today's podcast, boo. If you loved the Slay Girl Slay podcast, be sure to leave us a rating and a review on the podcast app that you're tuning in on. We would love to hear from you. Follow us on all of our socials at Slay Girl Slay and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to come visit us on our website at www.slaygirlslay.com. The Slay Girl Slay podcast is brought to you by Ash Media Network with brand new episodes every Monday. I can't wait for our next girl chat, so please believe we will chat soon, boo. Peace.